All right, welcome. Happy Thursday morning. Welcome to the P10S Daily Show presented by the Institute of Clinical Excellence. I'm happy to be here this morning with you. My name is Alan. I'm happy to be your host today, lead faculty in our fitness athlete division, and currently serve as the Chief Operating Officer here at ICE. Here on Leadership Thursday, we talk all things practice management, business leadership, and kind of personal leadership and development as well. It's Thursday. That means it's Gut Check Thursday. This week's Gut Check Thursday, simple body weight, or is it? 3 rounds for time of a 50-meter walking lunge. That's about 165 feet. Caveat here is every step you take to accomplish that lunge distance, you add a burpee penalty. So if it takes you 33 steps to get that 50 meters, after that first round of lunges, you got to do 33 burpees. Then you do the second round of lunges, your burpee penalty, the third round of lunges, and then your burpee penalty. So kind of a nice workout. Lunges benefit the taller athlete, longer strides, shorter steps, but burpees benefit the shorter athlete, smaller range of motion to work through. So no one gets out alive this week. So that's a good one to do anywhere in the clinic, at home, the garage, out in the backyard. It's getting a little bit nice. So have fun with that Gut Check Thursday. We're proud to announce, and you'll see a post today from ICE social media at noon, our official partnership with Mayhem Athlete and CrossFit Mayhem. So we'll be having a special section here on ICE social media beginning Monday called Mayhem Monday. I think you'll like it. Going to talk a little bit about Mayhem Athlete programming, how you can plug your patients into it no matter where they're at on their fitness journey, and how you can get access to try out the programming yourself if you attend an ICE course. So all those details will get announced today at noon, and then you'll see Mayhem Monday start every Monday, starting this Monday at noon. Courses coming your way: Modern Managerial Adult Essential Foundations and Pregnancy and Postpartum Online. Both started this week, but we have not put the next cohorts up yet. So if you still are trying to jump into one of those courses, you have probably the rest of the day today to do that and sneak in a little bit late. Plenty of time to get caught up if you want to jump into one of those courses starting this week. Live courses this weekend, of course. We're going down to Nashville. I'm leaving late tonight for the 2022 ICE Sampler. We've got about 100 physical therapists, physicians, students heading down to Nashville at CrossFit Hendersonville for the ICE Sampler. Completely focused on prevention. You're going to leave with 6-ish workshops ready to present in your community, including all the slides already built for you. You're going to learn the evidence and the movements from us, and you're going to leave with a slide deck that you could take back and start talking about to people on Monday. So that's our focus for this year's ICE Sampler, on top of a bunch of working out and good old Tennessee barbecue as well. Live courses next weekend. We have the weekend of May 14th and 15th. Sorry, that's 2 weekends away. We have Modern Management Older Adult Live, both in Austin, Texas and Fountain Valley, California. We have Rehab of the Injured Runner here at CrossFit Fit and Health HQ, May 14th and 15th with Jason London. And then we have Lumbar Spine Management down in Indianapolis with Zach Morgan. So that's what's coming your way live and online. Let's get into today's topic, Leadership Thursday. Let's continue with volume 2 of Lessons from the Army, Lessons from the Military. So this week I want to talk about the importance of timelines, the importance of a schedule. So what I want to talk about today is how it relates to keeping things organized, how a timeline is really beneficial, not only to keep yourself organized, but beneficial both as the employer and employee side of knowing what the workday looks like and how that can go a long way to make work more enjoyable instead of something that burns you out, and also how patients appreciate timelines. So those are the 3 things we're going to hit on today. Time is very unique to human beings. With the exception of my wife, most humans are able to keep track of time and not be late everywhere they go. And we really appreciate knowing what's coming our way. So in the military, we are massive on timelines. It's one of the first things you learn as a junior leader, and it just gets continually reinforced as you grow as a leader and get promoted and you have more and more people underneath your charge. The importance of timelines and how it keeps a large organization like the Army of millions and millions of technically employees on track every day, even when the people in charge are not there to tell people what they need to do. So in the Army, every duty day ends with working with somebody from your chain of command. It's usually your team leader, or maybe your squad leader, or maybe your platoon sergeant or platoon leader, the lieutenant, telling you what you're going to do next day. And now most days it's quite redundant. It doesn't change much, right? We're going to wake up around 5 or 5:30. At 6 a.m., we're going to do physical training. We called it PT, physical training, not physical therapy. You might be told what you're going to do. Hey, we're going to go for a long run. Hey, we're going to do calisthenics. Hey, we might go to the gym. We might do a ruck march, whatever. After that, you'll have an hour, hour and a half to shower, shave, get breakfast. Duty day starts at X time. this is what we're doing tomorrow. We have some online training. We are going to go change the oil on our trucks. We're going to go to the range and practice shooting our rifles. Maybe today we don't have physical training at all. We're going to do a 6, a 12, a 20-mile march, and that's going to consist of the majority of the duty day. You're told when you're going to have breakfast. You're going to told when you can expect to get lunch. You're going to told when you can expect the duty day to end and when you can have dinner. And if the duty day is not going to end, you're going to be told what continues into the evening. And most importantly, you're told kind of when your needs will be met. Most human beings want to know, when am I going to eat? When am I going to get to drink some sort of liquid? When am I going to get to use the bathroom? And when am I going to get to go to sleep, right? That's what we really care about. And all that stuff is told to you every single day. And again, it can get kind of monotonous, but you end every day and you start every day in the military knowing where you should be, what you should be wearing, and what you're about to do. And hey, when am I going to eat? When am I going to get to sleep? When am I going to get a break? When am I going to get relief if I'm on guard duty or something like that? And so even though it is monotonous, even though some of the stuff is not very high skill, nonetheless, you know how each day is structured. And that goes a long way into making sure that what happens in the military job-wise is enduring, right? The military wants you to stay in 20 years. The end goal is, when am I going to get to my 20 years and get that pension and be able to retire, right? And it goes a long way towards mitigating burnout or feelings of frustration if you know what to expect every day. And that kind of carries forth into my second point, is that as physical therapists, as most people in America and the Western world in general, we have no idea how our day is going to go, right? We think we start at X time and we hope we end at Y time, but very little of the time does that actually happen, right? Very often our day goes awry. We've all been there where we think, hey, I have a patient at 9. I'm going to show up at 9. My patient's going to be there. I'm going to start my day. Oh, 9 o'clock canceled. Well, that would have been nice to know that now I don't have a patient until 10:30 or 11, because I could have stayed at home and done laundry. I could have gone to the bank or whatever. I could have done something else with that time. And now I don't know how my day is structured. Many of us have gotten to the clinic and thought, hey, I'm done at 5 today. Oh, you know what? We can only fit this eval in at 5:30, so you're going to have to stay until that eval is done by like 6:30 or 7, right? And that goes a long way into making what we do every day in the clinic seem very unsustainable. We have no idea what our schedule is going to look like. We have no control over our schedule. We have no flexibility with our schedule. We don't know really when our day is going to end. And we're kind of at the mercy of when patients get plugged into our schedule and when that last patient basically wants to be seen and leaves. And that leads to a lot of frustration and that feeling of burnout that many of us have. And so timelines are really important. Imagine if you went to leave for the day and the clinic director or manager said, hey, this is what we have tomorrow. It looks like you don't have a patient till 11, so don't come in till 11. Do whatever you want. Or, hey, it looks like you have an early day tomorrow. I'm going to see if I can move this 5 o'clock up to 2 or 3 o'clock so we don't have that annoying gap for you, and maybe you can sneak out an hour or two early. Imagine if you were briefed on a timeline at the end of each day, and when you came in for the morning, you also had a really good expectation of your workload for the day. That would really go a long way mentally, psychologically, to make this something that we could see ourselves doing for a very long time. We don't think of ourselves often as long-term employees at where we're working. We don't expect to be working at the same clinic for 20 years, often for reasons like this, not for having control of our schedule. Here at Health HQ, we have just a productivity guideline. See 30 patients a week, one-on-one for an hour. The rest of your week is available. If you want to see extra patients, go for it. The rest of that kind of 10-hour gap between 30 and 40 hours is for documentation. It's to call on people and get them rescheduled, or if they reschedule or move around throughout the day. There's also time in the day to work out. There's also time in the day to eat lunch and not be trying to see a patient and or do documentation at the same time. And that goes a long way into making work feel a lot more sustainable when clinicians are the ones who have control over their schedule and not the clinic. And then finally, the third point here, guess who else loves timelines? Yes, as professionals, as people, we love timelines. Patients love timelines. Having a good idea of what physical therapy is going to look like, having a good idea of how long physical therapy might take. We don't always know the exact answer, but we can give a ballpark. That goes a long way to setting the expectation with patients. That goes a long way into getting buy-in and making sure that they actually show up for that next appointment and their follow-up visits. If you just have them scheduled for that 3 times a week for 12 weeks, like the physician wrote on the script, they may not be able to afford that. They may not have time for that. They might not be prepared for that commitment. They probably didn't even read that on the script, right? They just come in and dump all this paperwork off and say, let's get started, right? So having an idea of how long do I think this will take? And be honest, right? If this is a very chronic condition, if this is a very serious injury, if it's been going on for a long time, if this is something that you think is like a tendinopathy, be upfront. Hey, this is, I think this is going to be longer term here, Frank. I think we're looking at, at least like twice a week. And I think we're at least looking at a couple of weeks, maybe even 4 to 8 weeks. We're talking months here with this tendinopathy. We're not talking, I don't think you're going to feel 100% better by this Friday. And that goes a long way with patients to set that expectation, set that timeline, that continuum of care. It goes a long way to get that buy-in. It also, if it doesn't go a long way, that's the moment in that evaluation when they go, oh, I'm not in for that. Like, I haven't met my deductible yet. I have a $27,000 deductible. All this is coming out of pocket. Is there a way I could do once a week or even once every other week? Like, there is no way I could come here, whether it's money, whether it's time, whatever. There's no way I could come here 2 to 3 times a week for the next 48 weeks. That is the moment where you can stop that issue right then and there so that you don't book that person for all that care that they end up just canceling or constantly rescheduling, right? You nip that in the bud right there by giving them a timeline of what you expect their care to look like. It's great when somebody comes in with a cervicogenic headache, you crack their neck, we do some banded retractions, maybe we do some instability work that same visit, and they're like, hey, I am like 95% better. You're like, I think we're looking at, maybe a couple visits, maybe a couple weeks. It's awesome when it goes that way, but it doesn't always go that way. So be honest. What did you see? How severe does it look? How well do they respond to your trial treatment? That's going to give you an idea of how long their care can expect to take, and walk them through that timeline. Hey, here's what it looks like actually in my mind of how I treat an Achilles tendinopathy, right? Right now, it's painful for you to do even a double leg heel raise without weight. So maybe we were even starting on the table and we're doing some banded calf pumps, right? And that is going to be a longer plan of care than someone that can jump right into 2-to-1 eccentric heel raises, right? That second person is much further on the timeline. They're much closer to the end than that first person. So be honest, map it out. We have the whiteboards here in the room. I map it out exactly like I talked about, like a timeline. Hey, you are here. It is painful for you to even lift your heels against gravity. Here's how we look at it. We try to do double leg heel raises. We try to do 2-to-1 heel raises. We try to do 2-to-1 heel raises with eccentrics. We try to do single leg, and then we try to load it up and maintain that eccentric load. When you can do single leg heel raises against load and you can tolerate that time under tension, you're pretty much at the end, and you are here right now, and we're trying to get you to here over here, right? Map out that timeline. You'll be surprised at how much more people buy in when they know what it looks like. And you'll also be surprised when people go, I'm not in for this. I don't have the time for this. I don't have the money for this. I would appreciate you giving me some stuff I could do at home, and I'll try my best to get it done. We know that's probably not going to happen, right? But at least both people are being honest, right? The clinician and the patient are being honest with each other, and we're not setting ourselves up for disappointment by trying to book that person for a bunch of care that they're never going to show up for, right? Then it looks bad on you. Why is that person canceling all the time? Why is that person canceling? You don't know because you never had that conversation. So everybody kind of looks like a dirt ball. The patient is losing out, right? You might even be charging that person no-show fees or cancellation fees or something, right? They're getting charged to not even get care that they can't afford to make, whether it's time or money-wise. And you have empty spots on your schedule, right? So clear that up at the start by working on timelines. And try, if you're on the managerial side of things, try to either let go of the need to control people's schedule and let them have the flexibility. And if you can't do that, at least at the end of the day, try to map out that person's schedule for them the next day. Give them that timeline. Let them know when can they expect to start work, when can they expect to leave for the day. A lot of clinicians, especially those of you who are very busy, and I've been there, if you're that person seeing a patient every 15 minutes, the only thing you're really thinking about during the treatment day is, when do I get to go to the bathroom? I have to go to the bathroom so bad, right? That is the only need in your mind that you're thinking about. You're not thinking about anything else. You're not thinking about the patient. You're thinking, goodness gracious, could I please get 2 seconds to go to the bathroom, right? And that goes a long way into that feeling of burnout and feeling like, I'm going to start to look for another job. So whether you're on the employer side or the employee side, start to adapt timelines, start to integrate that into that initial evaluation when you walk your patients through what you think their care is going to look like, and set them up for that moment of, I'm in for this. Let's do, hey, if you're saying I need a lot and 2 times a week, is 3 times a week better? I could come 3 times a week. I have the time, I have the money, whatever. You'll be surprised at the people who say, I want the accountability, I actually want to come here more. But you'll also be surprised by the people who say, stop. I'm out. I didn't, this isn't what I thought it would be. I can't afford this right now. I don't have the time in my schedule. I've got 19 kids, whatever the reason is, it stops them in their track and it prevents them for committing to care that they're never going to attend anyways. It's going to save everybody a lot of time, money, and frustration if we start to adapt timelines. So I hope this was helpful. I'd love to hear feedback or discussion on this. Hope you have a fantastic Thursday. If we're going to see you down in Hendersonville this weekend, I'm looking forward to seeing some of you early tomorrow morning for ice certification testing at Onward, Tennessee. Seeing a lot of you for 3 p.m. workout at CrossFit Hendersonville tomorrow, and then seeing a large majority of you Saturday morning at CrossFit Hendersonville for the ice sampler. So have a wonderful Thursday. Have a fantastic weekend. Thanks for your time. Bye, everybody.